How can somebody know that they're in a toxic relationship? This is very interesting because, as we said, toxicity is like an electric shock. The first time it shocks, but over time somebody develops tolerance. And I just want to say that nobody remains in a toxic adult relationship for a long time. You will find that the stage was set by the relationship with the caregivers. So a child who has gone through adverse childhood experiences is likely to get into a toxic relationship. This is repeated, this is continued. So number one is awareness. Through awareness, when somebody gets an opportunity to either read, to either listen, to even interact, they begin to realize that what I'm going through is not normal. Their body is always in what we call a trauma response, hypervigilant. It's always fight, it is flight, it is freeze, it is found response. You know, they have to please people. So they begin wondering, why is it that I cannot speak up when I'm being abused? Why is it that I cannot speak up? Why is it that when my colleague in the office are asking for a day off, I have to keep quiet and suffer and sometimes even lie for me to get a day off? I can't explain. Why is it that this person loves me, but they are hurting me? Why is it that I'm being beaten? Why is it that I'm being silenced? I'm being judged. I'm being criticized. Why is it that the people around me just want to take? So you will find your gut will always tell you. But however, somebody may not have a language for it. There's a way they feel it's not okay, but they don't have a language. So when they come across knowledge, information, then now they begin to name. Whatever is named can be healed. When you begin to name, this is called toxic relationship, this is called abuse, then somebody begins to realize that this is not okay. However, this has been their default. This has been familiar. So it's very scary getting into the world whereby it's now free, it's now loving. It's like the way somebody has been in a dark room for so long. When they are getting out in bright light, at first it appears like it's blinding. The light is like blinding, and for some time somebody may not see, but then as they get it, they realize, oh, actually the world can be a bright place. So somebody needs a lot of support. It's like a child learning to walk. They need to walk with support. They can't just begin walking and they're told, okay, now run a marathon. And the support looks like being present, being there, so that you can let them know that, you know, I'm here for you. If it means accompanying you for therapy, for coaching, whatever, I can take you for counseling. If it means maybe paying for you, you need the service, giving you the material so that you can read. So once awareness begins, then somebody reaches out for help. And once they reach out for help, they begin taking steps. And they begin taking steps by putting healthy boundaries. It is in relationships that they were hurt, and it's in relationships that they will heal. Somebody does not heal by isolating. They heal by being in relationships and putting healthy boundaries and saying, no, you cannot talk to me like that. You cannot shout at me. You cannot hurt me. It's not possible. I say no. So they need to speak up. They need to raise their voice and just say, no, this is not going to happen. Now, what is the impact of somebody staying in a toxic environment? This is very dangerous because the body keeps the score. I will repeat what I said earlier on, that whatever is not spoken out, it's going to have an impact on the body. And people begin having their bodies breaking down because of the trauma responses, cancers, autoimmune conditions, diabetes, hypertension. They have actually been linked heavily. There's compelling evidence. You can read much more about that. There's compelling evidence that these conditions, adverse childhood experiences, contribute heavily and largely to these conditions. Sadly, many times at the prime of somebody's life. I have had clients from all over the world come to me when they are 35, maybe 40, and somebody is being diagnosed with cancer, autoimmune conditions, and this person has tried to live a healthy life. You know, they exercise, they eat healthy, organically, fruits and vegetables, and yet they cannot understand why they are having these health challenges, these health conditions. And this, when you take proper history, you realize it's linked to adverse childhood experiences, and somebody has learned to live to tolerate these conditions. However, the body does not forget, the body keeps the score, and the body is going to show. So at whatever time somebody realizes, because there will be that time, there will be a breaking point, it's important to actually take decisive action and be able to seek healing and begin now to live in a more conscious way. And let me just say that nobody is so badly damaged that they cannot experience positive effects even within a very short time. So there's hope for everybody. And if you look, you realize that there's somebody who is in a toxic environment, it's important to acknowledge that this didn't begin now. It didn't even begin with them. It began way back, and be able to provide the awareness, the resources, so that everybody can take charge, can take responsibility of their own health, and maybe even right the wrongs that may have been done to them. How can somebody who has gone through adverse childhood experiences take practical steps to heal, recover, and even break the cycle of these traumatic events? It is possible for everybody who is willing and who has gone through adverse childhood experiences to heal and to even recover. The first step is awareness. Awareness, awareness, awareness. I don't know how much I can emphasize this. Somebody being aware and admitting, because many times people are in denial. People will say, you know, my childhood was amazing. My parents were fantastic. They raised me so well. I just want to say that nobody was raised in a perfect family. It's not possible because there are no perfect people. So all of us, it's not about whether or if, it's about how. Many of us have gone through adverse childhood experiences, even if it's to a small degree. So the first thing is to acknowledge and to accept that this happened. My parents loved me. They did their best, but this is what came out of it. The next step is to forgive unconditionally. Unconditionally forgive your caregivers. Maybe it was the parents, maybe it was the siblings, maybe it was uncles, aunties. Forgive them for what they may have done to you. Once you forgive them, you have actually practically cut the chains that are binding you to your adverse childhood experiences. So once you have forgiven them, forgive yourself as well. Because sometimes we have people blaming themselves that I was whipped because I was a bad child. I was raped, I was defiled because maybe I called it upon myself. Forgive yourself. Of course, definitely there is no way a child can do something to deserve to be abused. That's not possible. Intellectually, you may know, but maybe emotionally, you still blame yourself. So it's at that point that you forgive yourself. You say, you know, I wasn't perfect, I'm not perfect, but I'm good enough. So you forgive yourself unconditionally. Once you have forgiven yourself, you now take steps to restore that which was taken away from you. This is what we call reparenting. Reparenting. You give yourself that which you were not given. So maybe your voice was silenced because of whipping, beating, or maybe you were beaten and you're told, shut up, don't cry. You were silenced. So you're not able to speak up when you need to speak up. So you need to now retrain yourself on how to communicate effectively, clearly, candidly, and honestly. You can now teach yourself. There are resources everywhere. You can teach yourself, register in a course, read a book, watch a video, you know, whatever, do something, seek professional help. You teach yourself those skills. Maybe your parents neglected to teach you boundaries. So you find yourself infringing on people's boundaries. You need to teach yourself to say, you know what? I need to respect other people's space. So at that point, then you teach yourself that which you were not taught. And as I said, there are many resources. So once you teach yourself, you also now need to foster relationships that are going to hold you accountable. Because as I said, we were wounded in relationships. We heal in relationships. You cannot heal alone. You have to heal in relationships. So you foster these healthy relationships that are going to sustain, that are going to encourage you, that are going to offer that opportunity to hold you accountable. Because healing is a journey that will never quite arrive. It's not a destination where you say, you know, I'm now healed. No, you keep healing every day. Look at it like an onion. The way you peel one layer, the onion is still okay the way it is. You peel another layer, you peel another layer. And relationships, especially intimate, romantic relationships, These are the greatest vehicle for healing because they trigger us. Romantic relationships triggers in a way no other relationship triggers you. You know, I think the other relationship that will trigger is the relationship between a parent and a child. So when you are in these relationships, you actually get triggered and you ask, what is this about? What is it really about this, or is it about my childhood? Then now you can heal and you can get better and better. And as you choose the nurturing relationships, you also must cut off toxic relationships, because this will keep re-traumatizing you and they are not going to bring the best in you, they will bring the worst in you. So you don't need to be in those toxic relationships, because by you continuing to remain in toxic relationships, it's like you are re-traumatizing yourself the way you were traumatized as a child, okay? And you're not doing yourself any favor. You just need to say, you know what? This now ends. I now have agency. I now have a choice. I'm no longer that helpless, dependent, and vulnerable child. I'm now an adult. I can choose me. I can choose healing. And once you heal, or as you're healing, it's critically important to also be impacting on other people, because it's in impacting other people that we develop ourselves and we keep getting better and better. And actually, partly, that is one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I have realized it keeps on validating my experiences and it keeps on giving me an opportunity to realize that there are many people who are in pain in this world, and by them getting better, I feel better, I feel affirmed, I feel validated, and I keep on getting better and better. It's very easy to relapse because you have been a certain way for so long, so it's very easy to go back. So you need to always keep on, this journey, because it's a beautiful journey. It's a transformative journey. There are many people who are covered in the mud or in the rubble because of the adverse childhood experiences. They just need to peel the layers and to just let this beautiful butterfly, it's actually called the butterfly effect, to have the beautiful butterfly emerge. And I think at the end of the day, we are all going to have a very productive and fulfilling society, because we are going to have more people healing and becoming authentically them for the better of themselves, their families, friends, acquaintances, workmates, and even society at large.